Deep within the sprawling branches of an ancient oak, nestled amongst the leaves and acorns, lay the hidden village of tiny folk. Their lives were simple, filled with the joyous sounds of tiny laughter and the sweet scent of honeysuckle. But their peace was shattered by the arrival of Madame Grizzle, a grumpy old witch with a penchant for exploiting the small and defenseless. She swept into their village like a storm, her gnarled fingers snatching up the tiny folk and stuffing them into a giant striped sock. Life for the tiny folk under Madame Grizzle's rule was far from idyllic. They stirred gigantic cauldrons of soup, dusted shelves taller than houses, and polished surfaces that shimmered impossibly. Their tiny sighs and whispered hopes for freedom were lost in the drafty corners of the witch's cluttered cottage. But hope flickered in the heart of one tiny folk. Pipkin, a brave young tailor known for his ingenuity and quick thinking. He knew they needed a hero, and he knew just the one to call. News of the tiny folk's plight reached Amelia, the protector of tiny things, a brave young girl with a heart as big as the oak tree itself. Armed with her trusty lollipop sword, a surprisingly effective weapon against grumpy witches, she set off on a perilous journey to rescue her tiny friends. She found the witch's cottage, a ramshackle affair that creaked and groaned under the weight of its accumulated junk. Amelia crept inside, her senses alert. The air was thick with the smell of simmering stew, and dust motes danced in the faint light. She spotted the sock, bulging and wriggling with tiny folk, hanging by the fireplace. But Madame Grizzle was nearby, stirring a cauldron of something bubbling ominously. Amelia needed a plan, and fast. Seeing a bag of sugar nearby, inspiration struck. With a swift movement, she emptied the entire bag into the bubbling cauldron. The sugar dissolved instantly, thickening the soup into a sticky, unmovable mass. Madame Grizzle, caught off